Welcome, everyone. My name is Ming Zhou. I'm head of the InterSystems, what's my title? Supply Chain Strategies. Yes. You can tell I'm nervous already. There's a good reason for that. Because last time I was in Florida doing a similar presentation, and in the middle of my talk, half of the room all of a sudden left. And the other half is panically doing something on their phone. So what happens was Hurricane Matthew made an unexpected turn and forced the airport to shut down. So that's why everybody trying to get out of the meetings. So hopefully I have better luck this time. Right? So talking about weather, and the interesting thing is I see a lot of similarities between weather and the supply chain. For example, weather impacts all of us. I don't need to tell anybody supply chain impacts all of us today as well, right? And supply chain is a horizontal, not a vertical. A lot of people still think supply chain is a vertical, but it's not. And weather have 4 seasons, but from time to time we'll throw out some surprises, so we all experience that. And in supply chain, well, we always have unexpected disruptions. We all learn it, right, from COVID, from the war, and many other things. So you got to be able to deal with all these interruptions, disruptions all the time. Weather is local. Every area, every region have their own unique patterns. And guess what? Everybody's supply chain is unique. That's what makes your business different from others. So you see a lot of these common things. Now, I work out of our Boston office, our headquarters, InterSystems headquarters. So if I ask people, say, what does it remind you about the weather of Boston? And what will people say typically? I heard a lot saying, you guys up north there, you must have a lot of snow, right? So, which is true. And when we talk about snow, many people may think it's a beautiful thing like this. Right? Beautiful snowfalls and everything. However, if you are a homeowner in the region, this may be what you're dealing with, and which can turn into something like this. And for people who don't know what this means, that means you're going to have a structural damage to your house if you don't take care of it. And for long-time home residents there in the region, they're prepared. So usually they will have something called a roof rake. When the snow happens, remove part of the snow, at least the lower part close to the gutter area, so you won't form an ice dam, which causes damage to your house, right? Now, when I bought my first house, I knew nothing about this. So one day, in the middle of a big snowstorm, I was sitting in my kitchen, look outside, beautiful thing outside, and then all of a sudden I noticed my ceiling, my wall, my window frame, all sweating. Water drops coming out of everywhere. I say, what is happening? And then I know I have an ice dam formed in my house. So in a panic mode, I went out in the middle of the storm, looked for a roof rake. So to nobody's surprise in this room, we all know that our supply chain is not as robust as it should be. When you need something the most, quite often, you just cannot get it. And that's what I run into. So I went to Home Depot store first. I said, do you have roof rakes? They said, I'm sorry, it's a big snowstorm. You're not going to find it anywhere. But we offer DIY workshop, and we'll show you how to make one yourself. And we have all the pieces you need to do it. I say, no. I need to solve my problem immediately. I don't have time to take the lesson and do it. So I kept looking. And then I went to a local hardware store. I said, do you have roof rake? They say, no. We have a shipment coming in a few weeks. However, if your situation is really urgent, I can connect you with a local contractor who will happily climb on top of your roof and take care of the problem for you. So you see, for a snow problem on top of your house, we have all these different solutions. And And actually, I'm using this picture to indicate that in our supply chain business, InterSystems, these are also the ways how we can help you with your supply chain. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes. By the way, I consider myself as a very hands-on person. So what do you think the option I picked that year?
Sold your house.
Almost, almost. All right, so let's get serious. What are we offering in our supply chain, product-wise, right? So we just introduced this new InterSystems Supply Chain Orchestrator, which is powered by well-known InterSystems Iris data platform. So before I go into the details of this product, I want to share with you a little bit about what motivates us, what we're trying to achieve with this product. So we're not trying to go out there to rip and replace existing supply chain applications, like your warehouse management, your order management, logistics, TMS, DMS, and so on, right? Instead, we want to provide the next generation data platform with key supply chain services that you can easily use to build your own supply chain solutions. We all know how dynamic supply chain is, right? Any off-the-shelf package solution is hard to deal with all these unexpected disruptions. So we want to empower you to build your own supply chain solutions with real-time intelligence, which drives predictive, prescriptive, actionable insight. And then we want to provide the connective tissue for you to bring data from all areas of your supply chain, disparate data sources, bring them together, and manage your disruptions, constraints across your entire supply chain. And with this product, the key differentiator is accelerated time to value. We want you to be able to catch the dynamics of your supply chain, not left behind, so you can stay ahead of the game. So let's take a closer look. What are we offering with InterSystems Supply Chain Orchestrator? At the center of the product is something I called InterSystems Iris for supply chain. So this is a data platform piece. It has all the power that InterSystems Iris got to offer that many of you already know. But in addition to that, we're also throwing something extra on top of it. What the extra things will do for you, that will make the Iris can understand and speak the supply chain language. It will help you to accelerate the ways you can implement supply chain applications and solutions. So I'll get to the more details later about what do I mean by that inside what we call InterSystems Supply Chain Framework. So that's all part of the InterSystems Iris for supply chain. And that's not going to be the only thing we offer under the umbrella Supply Chain Orchestrator. Because on the data platform side, we are bringing all the technologies together for you to use. So you don't have to think too much about how technology A works with technology B and so on, right? What it doesn't offer you is any of the supply chain specific functions, right? How do I do track and trace? How do I do demand forecasting? Or how do I do optimizations? And we don't want to jam everything into one big release under Iris for supply chain, because you may not need all of them or most of them. You just want to get the right ones you need for your specific use case. So that's why we're offering a set of supply chain cloud services, which is a plug and play kind of thing. So you can pick whatever cloud service is meaningful or required for your use case to build your application. So these two coming together forms what we call the supply chain orchestrator. And I'll show you a few examples. What potential solutions can you build with this? So for example, I have some cloud services and Iris supply chain. If you combine the optimization service with Iris for supply chain, and you can quickly implement something for fulfillment optimizations or inventory optimizations, those kind of solutions. By the same token, if I combine track and trace cloud services, you can implement logistic applications. Or if you take advantage of some other services, and then you can build some other solutions. So I'm not going to get into details of any of these solutions, because right after this session, Mark, who is standing in the back, he's going to talk about a lot of these use cases of different solutions that you can build with Iris supply chain, with InterSystems Supply Chain Orchestrator. So if you're interested in the details of the solutions, use cases, please stay on for the next session, and Mark will cover more details. So as I mentioned earlier, a centerpiece for Orchestrator is the Iris for supply chain. And the main differentiator between Iris for supply chain and the core Iris data platform is this supply chain framework. And I'll give you a little bit more details what that covers. The main idea is the framework is not trying to introduce a new, cool, fancier technology. Instead, we're trying to bring the existing technology already built into Iris data platform to bring that closer to your supply chain, so you can easily start your application and then use them to build your supply chain use cases. So the first thing we focus on is how can we help you jumpstart your application without doing a lot of groundwork, without reinventing wheels for common things. So that's what we offer. So for example, we provide a canonical supply chain data model to help you to harmonize, normalize data, so you can immediately get the end-to-end visibility from first mile to last mile. We also provide you some help in bringing in the analytics capabilities that Iris got to offer to your supply chain use cases. One example is like a KPI framework. So our KPI framework is built on top of our analytics capability. So then, instead of for you to code anything, to write any SQL or MDX or whatever language you want to use, you just need to configure it. You configure the KPI based on your business logic instead of to code anything. Why we can do that? Because of the analytic capabilities we already have on the data platform. And last but not the least is we want to take this in even one step further. We want to let you to take advantage of all our business process engine, business rules engine, decision engine, among other things, which help to bring the data, analytics, business processes, ML, if you have any of those things in the platform, together to help people make intelligent decisions. That sounds good, right? And we are actually going to show you later in a live demo how we are achieving that. So before we get to the demo, I want to talk a little bit, there's one more slide here. So with InterSystems Iris for supply chain, this is what we can do. All the way from the left side, starting with data, raw data, right? Iris gives you all these interoperability features that you can connect to different systems. We also have the supply chain data model, so you don't have to do anything. You can start loading and normalizing your data. And then immediately, we'll apply analytics to it, so you can see what the data is telling you, get the business insight. You can also configure your own KPIs to capture whatever problems you might have in your supply chain, and then do additional analysis on those issues that's been captured one way or the other, and understanding the impact on your business, prioritize them, and then the last step there is actionable insight. For those issues we captured, we will help you to identify what's the best course of action based on the real-time data you have, based on your own business rules. Nothing is hard-coded. It's all based on your stuff. So that covers the Iris, the data platform piece. The other part of the supply chain orchestrator is supply chain cloud services. So each of these cloud services implement one unique supply chain function. It can be track and trace. And as a matter of fact, I can have 10 track and trace services. One is leveraging, say, Project 44, one leveraging MacroPoint, one leveraging ForKite, you name it. You can have any one of them, right? And for people who want to build application, they can decide, I already have a contract with Project 44, so I'm going to pick that one instead of the MacroPoint version, right? So each of these implement one specific supply chain function, and they all work seamlessly with Iris for supply chain. So that way, we can orchestrate all these different services through the Iris layer to achieve whatever business use case you want to get to. And all these services, they're cloud native. They are cloud agnostic, so you can use on most of the mainstream cloud providers. And also, we're not going to build all of them. You know, we are not expert in everything, and we don't have the bandwidth to do it either. So we want to invite our partners and even our clients, join us. Let's all build something together, and we can help you to bring your services, your product to the marketplace. It's a win-win situation. So that's what we are doing with the cloud services. Now, instead of me keep talking about all the technical details, I think it might be better if we just show you how this thing works. So this is when I would like to bring my colleague, Tong. Hi, Annie.
Hi, everyone.
So Annie, I just mentioned that at the center of Supply Chain Orchestrator is Iris for supply chain. How can people get it?
So if you already have InterSystems Iris Data Platform Advanced Server, at no additional cost, you can install our supply chain package through IPM, which is the InterSystem Package Manager. And then that allows users to easily install, manage, and deploy packages in the InterSystem technology ecosystem.
That sounds easy. Now, I know a lot of our customers today, they already are using Iris and develop supply chain applications on top of that. Now, if they want to take advantage of this offering here, do they have to throw away what they have done and then start over again?
Absolutely not. So that's actually a really great question, because we understand a lot of our customers, a lot of the organizations already have their supply chain solutions running on top of Iris. And we want to ensure a seamless transition so that they can continue doing what they're already doing while starting to leverage our latest offerings. So the idea is that the customers can choose to adopt specific components or assets in our supply chain package, and then to slowly incorporate them, choose the ones that best align with their current business needs and priorities, while remaining their current solution in place.
Sounds great. So people don't have to worry about redoing everything you already established. So you can take advantage of both what you have done and what we are offering together to take full advantage of this. So now, Annie, let's see what can this do for our clients.
Yeah, so in the package, to begin with, we have a comprehensive data model that covers first mile to last mile, inbound and outbound supply chain, which encapsulates all parts of your supply chain. And you can easily extend it and customize it, covering both master data and transactional data. So for example, we're covering orders, shipment, inventory, manufacturing. And what this allows you to do is that all of the data in different parts of your supply chain can have relationship to each other and can work together, which sets a really great foundation for descriptive analytics, for KPIs and key business metrics, which is all the numbers that you're seeing on the screen. So just for example, this KPI that we define here, this is the percentage of sales orders that are shipped on time in full. So this is just one of the KPIs that we're presenting here.
Sounds like we pre-ship some of the KPIs that everybody can share.
So we don't currently ship KPIs out of the box, but I'm going to show you how you can easily define a KPI on your own. So you can do this through a simple request on the REST side. So here, I'm going to send this request. What I'm doing here is that I'm adding a new KPI that captures the number of sales orders that are shipped later comparing to the committed ship date. So now if we go back to this UI, we see that a new KPI has been added here on the fly after that simple request.
That's nice, that's easy. So what do people get out of this KPI definition?
So to begin with, we can click in to see some descriptive information. So here we're listing all the orders that are captured in this KPI. But just capturing the descriptive information is not good enough. What we can also do is we can use the KPI to generate issues. And what this allows you to do is that it enables us to capture the risk in your supply chain in real time and even in advance. So here what we're doing is that we're capturing all the issues that were based on this KPI that we just created on the fly. So there could be various sources for issues. It could come from an external event. For example, it could come from a severe weather alert. It could come from a major geopolitical event. It could come from a customized business process inside of Iris or from an API call outside of Iris. And then all of this is based on our embedded business intelligence technology in InterSystems technology. So now if we go back, we can see that there were 44 order issues that were just created based on that single request.
All right, so I can see you can automatically capture issues based on your KPI definition. So one configuration will tell you how your business is doing, what kind of problems you have, and for every one of them, we create an issue for that. So what can we do about the issues? Now we have 44.
Yeah, so if we click in one of the details for the issues, to begin with, we can see the severity, but what's even better is that we can run a business process that's associated with it. So this would be the business logic that we have assigned to this particular type of issue to handle it. So now if we run the analysis, we can wait to see some of the more advanced analytics that goes behind the decision-making process.
Wow.
So here we can see that after the analysis, we can see the root cause, we can see the impact analysis. So we're saying that this order is expected to be late because we have a low inventory, and the required part that's needed to make this order is going to be late. Then what's even cooler is that we come up with intelligent, actionable insights that allows you to pick a feasible option based on all the calculations and communications that are already done in the background based on our business logic. So the couple of options we have here, option A, we just do nothing and wait for the part that we're missing. Option B is we reallocate the parts that were originally allocated for other orders. And then option C is that we can use an alternative part with a free upgrade. And with each of those options, there's impact associated with it, either from a cost or time perspective. And we also have a recommendation flag set.
That sounds fascinating, but how do you do it?
So the way we do this is that we have a business process running in the background. We can also associate business rules with it. But what's even better is that we can leverage smart data services to access cloud services, as Ming have just mentioned, so that we can do further analysis for risk analysis and resolution.
Wow, that's great. Now, as I mentioned earlier, so this is great. We have a solution for these kind of problems, but we all know supply chain is very dynamic, and it changes all the time. So a solution today may not be a good solution tomorrow. So how will a solution like this adapt to those supply chain dynamics?
That's a really great question. So the way that InterSystems Supply Chain Orchestrator is set up is that you don't have to disrupt your current business flow to handle a different kind of disruptions. What you can do is you can build a new business logic on the fly. So for example, I can develop a new business process in parallel while our current analysis process is running. So let's say if I've already built that, I can add that to our business, to our production, add it in, enable it. So now we see this late order due to weather condition process has been added to our running production. So now if I go back to this issue and I'm trying to run the new process that we just added to the workflow, we can see that we have a new set of analysis that were run for the issue. And this is really important because at different periods in time, you might have a similar issue, but there would be different reasons that's causing that issue, so you would require different solutions to it. And another cool thing I want to mention is that for the recommendation section, we don't need a user to come in every single time to make the decision for every single issue, because that would be a lot of issues to resolve manually on a daily basis. So we are persisting every single user input in our system. So you can either set that to just automatically run in the future for certain kind of issues, or we can also use the user data that we persist to train a machine learning model. So we can either use that to set the recommendation flag here, or we can use it as a guideline for auto execution for different kind of issues. Maybe for orders that are below a value of a certain threshold, we can just auto execute the decisions.
Well, what I take out of this is if I develop a supply chain application using Supply Chain Orchestrator, and without changing my application, I can easily adapt to new supply chain dynamics. So that's a lot of power, very powerful statement to make there. Thank you very much, Annie. So Annie just showed quite a few things. I'm going to skip some of that. And a lot of steps I listed here that we just covered. So again, I want to repeat the main idea, what we're trying to achieve here with Supply Chain Orchestrator is, first, help you to bring all your supply chain data together into one data platform with a supply chain canonical data model, which you can customize, by the way, and then provide end-to-end visibility. You can also get a lot of analytics features that is out of box to understand your business insight, how your business is going, trending up, trending down, what kind of problems you may have, what these problems are, and for those identified problems, we will help you to run additional analysis to drive the intelligent decisions, either decision assistance or some of the decisions, if we have enough confidence, we can automatically execute it for you. So you don't have to go to the screen for every one of them trying to pick ABCs. And for those, we already have a lot of confidence. The system can automatically execute it. So you can focus on more new things or more challenging topics. So that's what we're trying to do. The key message here is we want to help you to accelerate time to value. We don't want you to wait a year or even 6 months to wait for some supply chain solution to be made available, because by that time, the solution may be irrelevant at that point. So it's very critical for us to give our client the ability to fast deliver supply chain solutions. So that's what we're trying to achieve, deliver with Supply Chain Orchestrator. If you are interested in more details, so we have our general website have information about what we do in supply chain, what are some of our customer experience use cases. You can find those information there. You can also check out our technical documentation for this product, which will give you like an installation guide, upgrade guides, the API details, among many other things that you can think of. So you can find them in the technical documentation website. And our learning service team also developed online learning course, or what we call the learning path for supply chain. So where you can log in there, watch some videos, spin out a VM, and then try some of the stuff that Annie just showed us by yourself, so you can see how it works. So we have a lot of these resources available, and of course, you can always reach us if you have further discussion needs. We will be happy to help you along your journey. All right, remember this? Let's talk about these pictures. Well, what did I mean earlier that I say these are the ways we can help you with your supply chain? So I mentioned earlier we have quite a few customers already building supply chain solutions on top of Iris. You already have the in-house expertise of Iris, how you can build things, how to make things secure, more scalable. There's no reason for you to change it. Keep doing what you're good at. And then you have the option to add on these new things we just talked about, right? They are not mutually exclusive. You can add on these new things, getting more values out of it, while you're still doing whatever you're familiar with, you're comfortable with. So that's one way you can keep doing things. Or you can work with us, or most likely one of our partners, to help you to implement your use case for you, or use one of the pre-developed solutions to solve your supply chain problem. So that way, you don't have to build a team to build it. You don't have to worry too much about the supply chain details, so you can focus on your core business instead of worrying about supply chain. Now, in theory, these two approaches will take care of everybody's snow problem, right, for their houses. But as we all know, homeowners want something different in general, right, many of the homeowners. And they are looking for something like this. They can quickly use and solve the problem themselves, right, without depending on anybody else. And this is where our InterSystems Supply Chain Orchestrator comes in. So with this solution, we bring technology to your supply chain use case to really help you to achieve accelerate time to value. So you don't have to worry about how technology A works, technology B, and among other things, like Annie did earlier. One configuration, we bring your transactional data to your specific custom logic, to analytics, and all your business rules processes together. That's how fast we can help you to accelerate your supply chain implementation. So that's really the messaging I want to give with regarding to supply chain. product. So if next week you go back to your day job and you forgot everything Annie and I said here, I hope you can remember these 3 pictures, because these pictures will remind you how InterSystems can help with your supply chain challenge. And as a matter of fact, right before I come here, I showed these 3 pictures to my wife. I say, look, honey, how much effort I put into taking care of our house. And my wife looked at me, said, thanks, but what I really want is to move to somewhere nice and warm that I don't have to think about snow, like Hollywood, Florida. So that gentleman earlier, he knows what my wife was thinking clearly, right? So to sell the house and move to Florida. That's exactly what she wanted. So yeah, thank you for coming to the session. I'll be happy to take any questions you may have. Yes?
So can you tell us about the data model? Is it based on supply chain standard?
Yeah, so the data model is a combination of different things. There are certain standards we're trying to cover. I don't think in the industry today, if you want to cover end-to-end supply chain, there's one standard which covers everything. So we'll leverage certain things like a GS1, among other things, but also provide others that is not covered. The main thing is we know there's no supply chain, one supply chain model will cover what everybody wants to use, right? So that's why we make it customizable. You can easily extend it, as simple as making one API call. You add something to the model, and then there's no coding required. You can start to use that in your APIs, using that in your analytics and everything. So that's how easy we make things ready for our clients to build applications on top of this. Well, we have another session right behind this. If no further questions, we'll talk about the use cases among other things. We also have text exchange table. So our solutions architect is sitting there all the time. And if you want to discuss any technical details, how to do certain things, feel free to stop by our text exchange table. We also have demo and drinks tonight, and we're showing a little bit more demo about our supply chain product. So there's a lot of things happening. You can always reach out to us directly, and we will be happy to help you out. Thank you very much.